our presenter today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michael. And some of you have already met him, and some of you know him for when we did a Project Fit kickoff in the spring with Equinox Gym. And Michael is a certified personal trainer, an exercise specialist, an author, illustrator, and he left Equinox a little while ago, and so I had to do some download, stalking to find him online, but thank goodness he's famous, so it was easy to find him and send some awkward LinkedIn messages. So we're really excited to have you, and thank you for coming. And I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So we're going to have fun today. Well, some of it's not going to be fun when we get to these exercises, these movements. And I'll explain in a little bit because we're going to try to make you move better. So we're going to be working against your own limitations. But we'll get to that in a little bit. If you have any questions at any point in time, just feel free to ask, right? So I want to make this a back and forth thing. And I'll tell you a little bit about me. So I started personal training in 2000. I started with Equinox. I spent 12 years with Equinox on and off. I took some time off to be a strength coach and assistant kinesiology instructor at Santa Monica College in Los Angeles. I did that for several years. I also was able to write a couple of books around PreHab exercises. I have lots of different disciplines, training disciplines underneath my belt. And basically it's all because I've been very active myself. And when I was in college, I was playing college football and I ended up breaking my leg, so I have a plate and 6 pins in my right shin. And I was really determined to keep playing, so I rushed to rehab and I went back to playing with my team, and I ended up rupturing my left Achilles tendon because my body was compensating. But it gets better, so I was still determined. So as soon as I got out of the cast with my Achilles tendon, I went back to play again, and I ruptured it again. But I still kept playing. I ended up then also tearing my meniscus in my right knee and also my left bicep tendon. I don't play football anymore, but because of these injuries, I still wanted to be very active all throughout my life, and that's why I came across PreHab. Basically, with these injuries in my body, I had to compensate. I wasn't able to move as well as my body was designed to move biomechanically, so I couldn't do everything that I wanted to do. And I've always been very competitive. I had a nickname of Rudy once, if anyone remembers that movie. So I had to really find a way to make myself move better, and that's how I started down this track of PreHab. And then I learned about the actual concept of PreHab through Tim Ferriss in his book, The 4-Hour Body. And then once I understood what he was talking about trying to fit your body to move better, then I just kept exploring it. So I've been exploring it for several years. I've been running the PreHab exercise website since 2012. And basically when I work with any groups or any individuals, that's the first thing I'm looking to do is try to improve your movement quality so that then you can perform better. Because if your movement quality is as optimized as possible, that means that when you are performing, that nothing's holding you back. You're not holding yourself back. Then that also means is that if your movement quality is optimized, that you could do things longer, including living longer. Basically, that's what PreHab or prehabilitation is. The process is fitting the body to move well. I like to say it's a supplement to a training program, or it's a little bit of a segment of your daily workouts. But I'll go into more details about this, but today in our modern life, everyone virtually needs PreHab. And it's not anyone's individual's fault, it's the environment that we live in. So why PreHab? Modern living is not the optimal environment for the human body. If you just look around at this room, it's a big box. You got this steel floor, right? And you work in this office building, a steel floor. You're walking around on that steel floor all day long. It's not grass. It's not dirt, right? The steel floor does not give. And you try to keep walking around all day long on it, guess what? The steel floor will win at some point, which then means that your body's going to start to move differently. Also, we sit in chairs as opposed to sitting on the ground or squatting. We wear shoes. If you look at my shoes, I have these like clown shoes on. They're lens. They have a very wide toe box so that my toes can splay. Because your toes are supposed to splay like a duck's foot, and that's where you get stability of the foot, which leads to stability of your ankle, which leads to stability of your knee, to your hip, to your lower back, all the way up. Now when you wear shoes, especially high heels, and you may hate me for saying this, high heels that really have those pointy heels, you are literally shaping your foot to lose stability. You're losing the splay, and then there's a consequence to that. Now don't get me wrong, I think high heels are very fashionable, right? They look great, but they're not great for the human body, which then comes back to PreHab. So if you are going to wear high heels, then I would recommend doing exercises that make you move your toes so that you can undo the constraints that you just put on your toes. If you're going to sit at your desk in a chair like this all day long, I would then recommend taking time throughout your day to get your hips in different positions. So standing is kind of easy, but also squatting all the way down, sitting on the floor in different positions, that would be great for your hips. Is this making sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Katie Gomez, she's a biomechanist. She's also an author. She has great books. And if you do audiobooks, she has a great way of speaking. So I highly recommend these two books, Move Your DNA and Movement Matters. And basically, when we boil down what she's talking about in Move Your DNA, she will tell you how mechanotransduction, how positions you're in and the movements that you do literally shape your body. So then if you look at your environment, your modern life, this modern life is literally shaping your body. And unfortunately, it's shaping your body for the worse. When I read her book, Move Your DNA, I was living in Los Angeles at the time. I was so moved by the book, I got rid of my furniture. I swear to God, I got rid of my furniture. She lives out in Washington State by Olympic National Park. She has no furniture. She is outdoors every single day. Her kids go to outdoor school, right? She's very into natural movements. So I highly recommend, if you read, pick up Move Your DNA. It's a great book. And then also, just to let you know, so I do have furniture now. When I got married, my wife wanted furniture, so I have furniture.
I was going to say you probably were not married.
Exactly. Okay. So the other reason for PreHab is the de-evolution of the human body. So for 350,000 generations, our human beings evolved to be hunters and gatherers. So that's running around, hiding, crawling over things, crawling under things, right? And so that's a very long time for evolution to take place. So we are hunter and gatherers because it's only been the last 93 generations that we've lived in different environments. So 84 generations for the agricultural revolution, 7 generations for the industrial revolution, 2 generations for the digital revolution. In essence, what our bodies evolved to do is not what we do. Our lives are on a different course. So that is more of a reason than to say, okay, if this is the world that we are living in, but my body's made for something else, I need to bridge the gap. So what is PreHab? So PreHab is an invention, right? So exercise was an invention that was started in the 20th century. And that was because we realized that we didn't need to move that much, and then people realized that they were not healthy, so we invented exercise as a species so that we could maintain our health. We're at the point now where we invented PreHab because we realized that we need to prepare ourselves even to exercise. So PreHab are exercises and techniques that literally help you to move better by mobilizing, restoring your range of motion or expanding your active range of motion, activating, helping muscles to turn on so that they can be used, so that they can contract, okay? And to stabilize, increasing how well your nervous system can actually coordinate movements, right? Again, especially against giving forces. What does that really look like here right now? Okay, so you're sitting, your hips are in this position, right? That's not the full range of motion for hip flexion or hip extension. So your body is kind of really getting molded into 90 degrees here, okay? You're also sitting, and a lot of you are leaning back into the chair, which now means that your torso, your core muscles are doing nothing. So we're losing some activation here. So these muscles, your nervous system is not actually activating these muscles. So when you then want to go run or throw something, swim, the neurological connection to your core muscles, which is the center of your body, the center of human movement, right? It's a little separate. And they may not fire when you need to fire them. And then our body starts to compensate. Then you add into the fact that we are now spending so much time here sitting. Your nervous system, and if you know a little bit about the nervous system, your nervous system, the neuromuscular connections grow stronger the more you use them. And the less you use them, the weaker they get, because of myelination, or how well the neural pathways are fortified with sheets of fat. So if we spend a lot of time not doing things, that means your nervous system is actually not being used. It's like a highway or a road that's not being used. Which then, when you're trying to control your body moving through space, stabilizing, it's really hard to do it, especially if you're trying to do something that's intense, fast, there's speed and momentum. And that's my personal pet peeve against the fitness industry right now, is that if you go on Instagram, you're going to see a whole bunch of people doing some wild and crazy things that maybe they've been practicing for months, and then they post it online, and it's very easy to look at it and be like, I want to do that. But we're disconnected from actually having the mobility, the activation, or the ability to do some of the things that we think are very accessible to us in terms of fitness. And then the fitness industry, and I'm part of it, we do a lot of work of trying to give you what you think you want. So a lot of people think they want these HIIT classes. So we'll actually do some group fitness classes where it's a bunch of HIIT classes. And then it's one instructor with 20 people, and there's no conversation of PreHab. And in my personal experience, sometimes doing PreHab, so when I was a strength coach for Santa Monica College with the football team, trying to do PreHab with a bunch of football players was not an easy sell. They looked at me like, I should be here, right? And that's what happens a lot in today's fitness. So you go to any gym, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see a lot of people be like, And the exercises that we're gonna do today, I promise you that there are going to be thoughts in this room like, what are we doing? This is boring. Because the exercises that we do may seem very subtle, right? And may seem like they're not doing that much, but I promise you that they are, and I'll explain when we get there. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far? Does anyone think I'm a buzzkill so far?
No.
So as I was saying, so the ultimate goal of PreHab is to improve movement quality in order to enhance performance and also increase longevity. So today's seminar, active stretches. So basically, everything that we're going to try to do today is that we're trying to get into different positions and move your body, and we're going to try to have you do it, your body, your organism, control it, or actually create it, right? We're not going to use some straps or anything like that, where you're using some outside force to do it, though at times that's okay. But today, what I thought would be best for you is to see how you could start moving your body through space. And in today's exercises, it may seem like this is like Latin up here or some foreign language, but controlled articular rotations is the first exercise that we're going to do. Then we have some positional isometrics, some hinges, axial rotations, small circles, and kinetic stretches. Before we do all the exercises, what I'd like you to try to do is when you're trying to perform these exercises, try to go through the biggest range of motion that you can and do it very smoothly. And then try not to move other parts of your body while we do the exercise. Okay. It seems rather easy, but we'll see.
Michael, I was going to say, when we were scheduling this, you had a time of day and a time during the week in mind. And if you want to explain why, for people to then be able to feel out there, be able to see the scope of work. And
you mean like on the Wednesday, the middle of the week?
Yeah.
Yes. So I did think that this would be a great day for us to get together because you've come into this work environment for the last 48 hours, basically. So I was trying to break it up, right, so that you have a little rescue or release from being in this work environment. Because hopefully over the weekend you did different things, right? Moved differently, got to experience like different metabolic reactions in your body too. You know, maybe you had fun, maybe you worked out, right? Or maybe you caught up on sleep, that all helps, right? And here you are, for the most part, still sitting in a chair in the same position, right, since we started. You also have stress, right, which is tightening up your body and taking away some physiological resources, right? So you have deadlines, you have projects and things to think about. So I was hoping that today would be a little release, right, so that you could come back and feel like energized and moving better, and then you could get through another 48 hours and say, okay, now the weekend's here, now I could go ahead and be free and move my body again. So any questions before we get started with the movements? All right, who's excited for movement? Okay, awesome. Okay, so we'll start with some cars here. Controlled articular rotations, cars for short. And since we're all sitting, why don't we just go ahead and sit in a chair. What I'd like you to do is move to the edge of your seat here. All right, feet are on the floor. You're going to take your hands, you're going to place them right on top of your kneecaps. Elbows stay nice and straight. Okay, so lock out your elbows. And we're just going to start moving your spine. Okay? What I'd like you to do is exhale and try to look into your belly button. As you look into your belly button, you're literally throwing your spine and you're trying to press your ribs back as far as you can. We're going into spinal flexion as deep as you possibly can. Once you've done as far as you can, what I'd like you to do now, slowly reverse it. Try to push your belly forward, lift your heart like you're Superman, and then take your eyes up and back as far as you can. So now your spinal extension. Are your elbows straight? Good. Let's go ahead, spinal flexion again. So curling nice and slowly. You want to try to work yourself back as far as you possibly can. Eyes are literally trying to look into your belly button to see if you have any lint in your belly button. Keep those elbows straight, keep your shoulders down. And now reversing, rolling through the pelvis, pushing your belt buckle forward, pushing your lower ribs forward, lifting up your heart, eyes gazing up to the ceiling and back. And we'll just do it one more time. So we're slowly articulating your spine, and we're trying to flex and extend every single vertebrae. Big breath out as you are looking into your belly button, keeping those elbows straight. Roll back as far as you possibly can with those lower ribs. And then reverse it, slowly come forward. Lifting up your heart, pushing your belly forward, eyes gazing up and back. And then come back to neutral. Excellent. So I want you to make sure that you have your heels right underneath your knees. Then I'd like you to hug yourself. I'd like you to imagine that you have a light shining out of your sternum, and this is going to help you to move your thoracic spine or your ribcage spine. So I'd like you to fold forward so the light tries to shine straight down. Now mind you, your pelvis does not move. So your pelvis is in neutral the entire time, but the light shining out of your sternum is going straight down to the floor. Now I'd like you to try to shine your light out of your sternum all the way to your right the best that you can. So you're going to rotate, and then we're going to try to shine that light up towards the ceiling the best that you can, straight above, and then all the way to your left as far as you can, and then back down to the floor. So we made one big circle, and now let's go the other direction, and let's repeat that circle. So going back to the left as far as you can, again going nice and slowly. Did your pelvis move? Don't let it move. Press your feet into the ground so your pelvis doesn't move. Sternum shining up towards the ceiling. And now sternum shining all the way to the right, and then coming all the way down. We're going to do this 2 more times. Try to make it a bigger circle now with that light, right? So try to shine the light underneath you a little bit more. And now off to the right as far as you can. Don't let your pelvis move. And then try to shine the light up and back over your body. Then over to your left. And then down underneath your hips the best that you can. And we'll take it back and try to make it just as big. Nice, slow, smooth movements. Up as high as you can. Keep pressing your feet into the floor. Don't let your pelvis roll back. And bring it all the way down. One more time. Now I want you to be super smooth, right? So you all know about light sensors that turn on lights because of movement. I want you to imagine you're in a dark room, you don't want the light sensor to turn on. So you have to be that smooth with your movements. So sternum points down to the floor, take it to your right. You're being really smooth. You don't want that light sensor to turn on at all. Slowly lift that sternum up. Are you going as big as you were going on that last round? Bring that sternum all the way around, and then bring it all the way to your left. Bring it all the way down. Excellent. And then slowly reverse. So go the other way. Again, you don't want to turn on that light sensor. You're trying to make it the biggest circle that you can. Your hips are not moving. Well done, everyone. Excellent. And then bring your hands back to your knees. Lock out your elbows again. Squeeze your armpits down towards your pockets. Now we're going to focus on your neck, your cervical spine. So bring your chin towards your chest. And now try to bring your right ear to your shoulder. Now try to bring your chin up towards the ceiling. And then left ear to your shoulder. Chin to your chest. And then let's reverse direction. Let's go back, left ear to your shoulder, then lift your chin up towards the ceiling, and then ear to your shoulder, chin to your chest. Excellent. Let's do it again, and I want you to go nice and slow. So I want you to try to count to 20, and it takes you that long to do it. So slowly bring your ear to your shoulder, and then slowly lifting that chin all the way up. Remember what I said about Katie Bowman's book, Move Your DNA, how positions and movements shape your body. So the slower you go here, the more you are giving diverse stimulus to your neck, because your neck spends a lot of time in the same positions. So hopefully you finally got your chin towards your chest. Now reverse it. So the slower that you go on these cars, you spend more time in other positions, and you're not going to allow your environment to shape your body as much as it does. And when I say your environment, I'm really speaking specifically of texting, looking at your phone, looking at the computer, and also driving. All three are horrible for your neck. So one more time, just as slow, try to make it as big as you possibly can. Don't let your shoulders move though, so keep squeezing your armpits down towards your pockets. Press your hands into your knees, press your feet into the ground. Making the biggest circle that you possibly can. Nice and slow, going all the way around. And if you feel any sharp pain while you're doing this, what I'd like you to do is avoid the area of sharp pain. And we could talk about that after the seminar. And I could give you some recommendations for that. Let's go ahead and bring it back. Again, keeping it nice and slow, keeping your shoulders down. Press those hands into your knees. Try to bring that ear all the way over towards your shoulder. And pass. Well done. So that was just the spine. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is take your shoes off. Talked about your feet and how your shoes shape your feet. So we're going to see how much shaping your shoes have done to your feet. So I'd like you to look at your toes and try to lift only your big toe and try to lift it up 45 degrees. So not the 4 outside toes, just the big toe. And then go ahead and put it back down. Again, try to lift only the big toe up. Just the big toe up 45 degrees and back down. One more time, big toe up 45 degrees and back down. Awesome. Now this is going to be fun, right? Now lift up the 4 outside toes. So keep the big toe down, the 4 outside toes, lift them up as high as you can. Again, lift them up as high as you can. And down. One more time, lifting up as high as you can. And down, yes. Now lift all of your toes up. Alright, all the toes up. Now just take the big toe, have the big toe touch the ground, and then lift it back up. So keep the 4 outside toes up. So just the big toe taps down and lifts up. Again, taps down and lifts up. One more time. Excellent. Are the 4 outside toes moving? Shame on you. Okay, all toes up. Now the 4 outside toes down and up. Down and up. So I'll let you all know the big toe coming up 45 degrees is really important if you want to walk or run. So if your big toe does not reach up 45 degrees, that means every time you're walking or running, your body is compensating in some form or fashion. Right? So I highly recommend practicing getting your big toe up to 45 degrees. Awesome. So a fun one right now is try to lift up each toe one at a time. So start with the big toe, wave them up, and then wave them down.
I feel like people should see it. You're actually doing it.
Give us a magical song.
Yeah, 5-finger socks, yes. Because I also have those 5-finger shoes. I try to work out in them whenever I can.
So is this the exercise that you were talking about doing with our feet if we're wearing high-heeled shoes?
Yes, exactly.
So this is showing that I've never done that exercise.
Showing how your
It should be
shoes are
reversed, though,
literally
right?
Yeah.
shaping your body.
Always hope.
There's always
Now, I have a question. Did you find it a challenge when you actually told me your meniscus to be able to do this on the day with meniscus?
So I tore my meniscus years ago, and when I started doing these exercises, what I instantly found was that it was comfortable to do it. And we're gonna get to the knees in just a little bit, right? So what I'd like you to do is we're gonna work on your ankles, right? And I'll come back to that when we come to the knees. What I'd like you to do is pick up your leg, hold your shin. Okay? So we want your shin to be nice and still. If you'd like to, you could do this little Brazilian chokehold, which is even better for it. So you take the arm, wrap it under, hold the opposite arm, hold your shin. Now Now pull your toes up towards your shins the best that you can. And on a 10 count, we're going to draw a big circle around with your toes. It's as if your toes are trying to trace the face of a clock. Taking it nice and slowly. That's it. So count to 10, slowly. What I actually would prefer you do is like do 10 Mississippi, so that you really get this slow tempo. Because the thing is that, as I mentioned with activation, since we sit so much, we lose activation all the way down to our ankle. And if you're having issues with your toes, you're going to have issues with your ankle. Okay? In terms of losing stability or neuromuscular control of your ankle. In fact, as you're doing these circles with your toes, you might find that your toes skip certain parts of the circle. Okay, let's go the other direction now. Try to make it as big as you can, as smooth as you can. Don't allow your toes to skip. When your toes skip a position, that actually means your nervous system has forgotten that position, which is not good for the ankle. Because if you're walking, running, let alone jumping, or skating, or anything like that, and your ankle doesn't know a position, that means your whole body shifts, right? Because that ankle doesn't know that position. So that puts more pressure onto your knee, onto your hip, onto your back. Excellent, everyone. Let's switch sides. Other leg. As we're doing the other leg, what I'd like you to do is ask yourself, is it as smooth as the first leg? Okay. So we talked about knee pain, and we also talked about back pain. I've talked with some of you individually about that. So right here, these ankle controlled articular rotations are great to protect your knees and also great to protect your back. It's not the only thing, but it will certainly help.
Does it help with the heel?
Does it help with the heel? Yes, definitely.
So if I do this, I always start to rotate, but I can hear,
You can hear the
my
cracking.
bones are cracking and
Yeah.
stuff. So what does that mean?
So the cracking's okay. And in fact, the more you do this and the more you do it slowly, the cracking goes away. The cracking is that your muscles and your tendons have been reshaped and they've lost length so that when you're making this circle, it compresses, and the cracking is your joint giving away so that you can make the movement because it's trying to let go of compression.
So it's okay, crack.
It's okay as long as there's no pain.
No pain.
But ultimately,
Feels good.
for your own training, right, your own prehab, you want to keep doing this until you have no more cracking.
Crack.
That's where you want to go. Awesome. So that was the ankle, and now we'll do your knee. So what I like you to do is stick your heel into the ground, your right heel, pull your toes up as high as you can, take your hands, hold on to your thigh. Do not let your thigh move. Try to turn your toes in as far as you can, and then try to turn your toes out. Nice and smoothly, not letting your thigh move. So what you'll notice here is that the shin actually rotates, meaning that there's rotation at the knee joint. So most of us think the knee joint is just this hinge joint where it only moves in one direction, and it's not true. Your knee rotates as well as extends and bends. If you're having difficulty rotating your knee right now, your body's compensating whenever you walk, squat, run, whatever it is that you do with your legs. So talking about my meniscus, when I started doing this actually felt comfortable. Okay. So now that you know that the shin rotates, what I'd like you to do is pick up your shin, pull your heel all the way up into your hips the best that you can, turn your toes in as far as you can. Now you're going to straighten your knee all the way. As you straighten your knee, your toes should magically go nice and straight. And then I want you to bend your knees and turn your toes out to the other side. Bend your knee as deep as you possibly can. Again, turn the toes in, straighten your knee all the way, and then bend your knee again, turn your toes out. What's really important is that you straighten your knee all the way. So turn your toes in, If you need to lower your leg, you can lower your leg to get it nice and straight. And then bend your knee, toes out. Now pause here, we're going to do the opposite direction. So toes are out, extend your knee all the way straight, and then bend your knee, turn your toes in as far as you can. Again, turn your toes out, extend, and then bend and turn your toes all the way in. Good, one more time. Try to bend as deep as you can, and then try to extend fully. And then turn it all the way in. And then let's switch legs. So I mentioned that that's one of the troubles with our fitness industry is that if you came to a class and you spent 20 minutes doing this, you would probably be like, what is this group fitness class? So what I highly recommend is that you go early to the gym, you do this on your own, then you do your group fitness class, right? And you'll feel so much better during and after. Okay. So left heel on the ground, toes up, holding your thigh. Let's just rotate your shin as far as you can. As you're rotating, you want it to be really smooth. And if you're struggling moving in any one direction, just keep that in mind. And then try to practice over time. Your body will reshape itself. And you'll get a bigger range of motion. Okay, so then let's pick up your thigh. Let's pull that heel in as deep as you can. Turn your toes in. And we're going to extend all the way. And then turn your toes out and bend all the way. Then turn the toes in again. Extend. Then turn your toes out and bend. Again, turn your toes in, extend. Turn your toes out and bend. Now let's reverse it. So toes are out, extend all the way. Good. And then bend and turn the toes all the way in. Try to extend as far as you can and bend as far as you can. So toes out, extend all the way straight, and then bend as deep as you possibly can. One more time. Toes out, extend all the way straight, and then bend and come all the way. Excellent. One more in the chair. We're going to do our wrists, which I think is very valuable to all of you if you've spent a lot of time on the computer and texting. So I'd like you to hold your forearm and make a fist. Right? Do not let your forearm move. Right? So this hand is going to really hold onto that forearm so it doesn't move. Now make the biggest, slowest circle that you can with your wrist. That's it. So same things as before. We want to say, how smooth is that movement? All right. How big can you make it? How slow can you go? Let's change direction. Let's go the other way. When it comes down to doing these cars, I have a little acronym up here, ICE-T. You want to isolate the joint, then you want to control the movement, then you want to expand the range of motion. And at the end, you want to add tension to it, but that's something that we could discuss afterwards. Okay, so now the fun one. So same hand, instead of a fist, a karate chop hand. Now as you do your wrist car here, don't let your fingers curl in. So try to keep a nice straight hand, a very strong hand, like you're about to karate chop some ice. Watch your hand. There will be a tendency for those fingers to want to curl. That's just compensation. Try not to let them curl. Can you go a little slower? Can you spend more time in each of these positions? Let's go ahead, let's reverse. And at this point, you might find like you start thinking about other things, and there's a good reason for that. Let's switch, okay? So another great benefit to this type of exercise, controlled articular rotations, CARs, is a concept called afferent learning. So your nervous system has two pathways of signaling, afferent and efferent. Afferent is where there are signals from your mechanoreceptors that are all throughout your body that go into your motor cortex. And this is important to know because your motor cortex is pretty dumb. Meaning that all the information your motor cortex ever get, let's switch directions, only comes from how you move. And if you're not moving in a lot of different positions to stimulate different mechanoreceptors, your motor cortex starts to prune out positions and movements. So we start with a huge movement repertoire when we're born, and over the years the motor cortex prunes out movements and positions over time. Then we get to a small little movement repertoire. Now go ahead, open up your hand and do the karate chop hand. And then if we keep doing the same movements over time, we put the same stresses on our body, and that sets us up for repetitive stress syndrome. So doing these cars will help afferent learning, help your motor cortex remember all these different positions. So then when you start to exercise, your movement repertoire is bigger, which then means that you can perform more movements. Now, it's hard to believe, so I want to tell you why it's hard to believe. Because we have a prefrontal cortex that understands big concepts. Our prefrontal cortex, we watch professional athletes move, we're like, oh, I could do that. I understand that movement, I understand the geometry of that movement, I could easily do that. So your prefrontal cortex deceives you in believing that you are actually moving through a bigger movement repertoire than you actually have. But if you start doing these cars on a continuous basis, the afferent learning, you take your motor cortex, you make it smarter. You make it have more connections and it remembers more pathways. Then you can go ahead and try to do what professional athletes do. So what I'd like you to do is stand up right now. And we're going to do your elbows. So what I'd like you to do is imagine that you have magazines underneath your arms and you're trying to hold them there. So squeeze the upper arm into your rib cage. Then take your palms, rotate them out as far as you can. Slowly come up, squeeze all the way up to the top, and when you're squeezing at the top, slowly rotate all the way over as far as you can. And then come all the way down. And then once your elbow's nice and straight, rotate those palms all the way out, and then come all the way up. So your elbows are very much like your knees, right? And your ankles are very much like your wrists. Your shoulders will be very much like your hips. So you notice that we're kind of doing the same thing that we just did with the knees. So it's extending and bending while also rotating. Let's pause here, let's reverse it. It's coming all the way up. Squeeze at the top, rotate all the way out, come all the way down. And as you're doing as well, what I'd like you to do is try to really rotate those palms over as far as you can and come all the way up. Rotate those palms all the way out, come all the way down. So you can really start to feel that there is actually different movements occurring in your elbow joint. Excellent. Beautiful. So we're done with the elbows. Now we're going to work your shoulder blades. I'd like you to take your hands by your sides. Try to get your middle finger onto the hem of your pants. And then without moving your head, try to bring your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. So again, your middle finger's on the hem of your pants the entire time. Shoulders come forward, up, back, and down. Now, since you work on at desk on computers, what I want you to emphasize is really the back and the down. Squeeze those armpits down towards your pockets. One more time in this direction. Up, back, and down. And now let's reverse it. Go back, up, forward, and down. Again, back, up, forward, and down. Try not to let your head move. Excellent. So now a fun one, or a fun version of this, I'd like you to take your hands up your back like you're being placed under arrest. same exercise. Don't let your head move. So forward, up, back, and down. Can you be very smooth here? And can you go as big as you possibly can? So is it a smooth circle you're making with your shoulders? If not, try to practice this a lot. Let's go the other way. Back, up, forward, and down. Okay, and then let's take your hand behind your head, like you're relaxing in a hammock. Same exercise. Don't let your head move. So forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Okay, and then reverse it. Excellent. So now we're going to do our hands, or I should say, we're going to do our shoulders. The best way to describe this is I'm going to give you a couple of key metaphors to think about. So you're going to stand by your side, you're going to reach forward as far as you can, like you're giving someone a box. Then come up and like you're going to say touchdown. Then when a gymnast finishes their routine, they finish with their palms turned out. Now from here, I'd like you to try to touch the wall behind you, and when you get to 90 degrees, try to turn the palms all the way up.
Okay, so spread out.
Right. And then keep bringing those hands all the way down until your hands come your back pockets. Your palms are facing away from your body. It's as if someone's twisting your arm to make you say uncle. Then you're going to reach back as far as you can, and you're going to hit a block. I'd like you to then turn your palms all the way out, and then slowly reach up overhead like you're diving into a pool, and then reach forward and give someone a boxing. And then we'll do it again. So giving the box, coming up, saying touchdown, finishing your routine in gymnastics, turn those palms out. Now try to touch the wall behind you. As you do so, pause at 90 degrees, try to get your palms all the way up toward the ceiling, and then keep bringing those hands all the way down to your back pockets, palms facing away. Beautiful. Keep your shoulders down, reach back as far as you can. Pause here, turn the palms all the way around. Slowly reach up as high as you can, like you're diving into a pool. Reaching forward and down. Good, we'll do it one more time. So give someone a box, and then come up, say touchdown, turn the palms all the way out. Now try to touch the wall behind you. Pause at 90 degrees, turn your palms all the way up. Keep working all the way down, bring the hands to your back pockets, pause. Now keep your shoulders down, reach back as far as you can. You're going to hit your block, then turn the palms all the way up. Slowly reach up overhead, like you're diving into a pool, and then reaching forward and down. Excellent. So we have one more to do, one more joint to do, and that's going to be your hip. What I'd like you to do is partner up, right? Can I just use you for an example? And partner up, and you're going to hold onto the opposite shoulder, and then you're going to work the outside leg. Got it? So you're partner up.
Oh, you guys go.
So you're holding on. Okay. Your outside leg, bring your knee up as high as you can. Yeah.
Can you show us the partner?
Yeah, that works. Yeah. As long as you can have one leg that's free. Okay. So bring your outside leg up. And now take that knee without moving your hips. So put your hand on your hip so you know your hip doesn't move. Take your knee out to the side as far as you can. Excellent. Now try to pitch your heel up towards the ceiling without dropping your knee. Do the best that you can. Don't lean forward. So heel up towards the ceiling. Now reach behind you as far as you can, as if you're literally trying to touch the wall behind you with your heel. Excellent. And then we're going to reverse it. We're going to bring the knee back out to the side. Don't let your hips move. Try to bring that knee up towards your shoulder, and then bring it forward and down. There you go. So we'll do it again. So it's a bit complicated. Like the shoulder, come up as high as you can. Knee out to the side. Don't let the pelvis move. Now lift that heel up as high as you can. And then reach behind you. Don't lean forward. Excellent. And then reverse it. Bring that knee out to the side. Lifting all the way up.
Kristen,
and
come and join us.
One more time. Bring your knee all the way up. Now out to the side. Pause right here. Can you lift your knee up a little bit higher? Awesome. Now, can you lift that heel all the way up towards the ceiling? Don't let your knee drop. Excellent. Then start reaching behind you as far as you can. And bring your knees together. Beautiful. And then reverse it. So you're going to reach back, out to the side. Try not to lean forward. Lift that knee up as high as you can. Excellent. And then switch sides. I want to just point out, it's not your fault, it's your environment's fault. Okay? So here we go. Knee up as high as you can, hand on your hip, take the knee out to the side as far as you can. Get it up as high as you can. Now lift your heel up as high as you can. Don't lean forward. Reach back as far as you can. Then bring your knees together. And then reversing. Reaching back as far as you can. Bring that knee out to the side. Lift that knee all the way up as high as you can. And then bring it forward and down. Beautiful. So we'll do it again. Lifting up as high as you can. Pause right here. Can you lift a little bit higher? Excellent. Now out to the side. Pause right there. Lift your heel up as high as you can. And then start reaching back. That's it. And all the way down. And then reversing, reaching back, out to the side, up as high as you can, and then bring it forward and down. And we'll do it one more time. So it's the iced tea here, what we're doing. So isolating the joint by holding the hip with your hand, lifting the knee up as high as you can. Control the movement as you bring it out to the side. Try to expand the range of motion by lifting your knee up as high as you can, then lift your heel up as high as you can. Now reach back as far as you can, nice and slowly, knees together, and then reverse. Reaching back, out to the side, and then bring that forward and down. Well done, everyone. So what I'd like you to do now is to take the yoga mats, lay it out, and then lay down on your backs. Just let the floor support you right now. Place one hand on top of your chest and one hand on top of your belly button. Just let the breath come in and out all on its own. As the breath's coming in and out, what I'd like you to do is evaluate what hand moves more. Is it the hand over your chest or is it the hand over your belly button? What hand moves more? Because of your environment, there's a great probability that your chest is going to move more than your belly. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to strengthen your diaphragm as well as your transverse abdominis, right? So that you can then have your belly move a lot more easier. So what I'd like you to do right now is you take your arms by your side, and I'd like you to practice this breath elevator technique. Just guide the breath in through your nose and your mouth all the way down to the bottom of your pelvis, and then guide it back up again, as if your breath rides in the elevator every time it enters your body. So it comes in your nose and mouth, it comes all the way down to the bottom of your pelvis, and then rides in the elevator all the way back up again. When that breath is coming out from the bottom up, it's as if you are gently squeezing the breath out of your torso from the bottom up. The same way you would gently squeeze toothpaste out of the tube from the bottom up. As you sit a lot throughout the course of the day, it's hard for you to breathe all the way down and utilize your diaphragm, your transverse abdominis, because your organs are in the way and that you're sitting in a chair. So you may have to actually do some strength training with your breathing to force the breath all the way down to your pelvic floor. That will help you to activate your inner core muscles, these deep abdominal muscles, which are responsible for the alignment of your spine and your pelvis. And as you're breathing out, you also need to squeeze the breath out from the bottom up. That will help turn on those inner core muscles as well. So as I said, PreHab was about one of the things in PreHab was about activating muscles that don't get used a lot. So what I'd like you to do is open up your eyes and now look at the ceiling and imagine that there's a birthday candle on the ceiling right above you. I'd like you to breathe in, use that breath elevator technique, so you're going to bring the breath all the way down to the bottom of your pelvis, and then try to blow out that birthday candle that's on the ceiling. So it's about 10 feet away from you. You're going to feel how those inner core muscles need to help to squeeze that breath out. So now we'll get strong with these inner core muscles. What I'd like you to do is imagine that there are 10 birthday candles. So you have to take a deeper breath in, and then exhale, squeeze the breath out, and blow out all 10 birthday candles with one breath. And make it an easy and gentle breath, right? That's going to be harder. Now really challenge yourself. Pretend that there are 20 birthday candles. So take a deep breath in and try to blow out all 20 birthday candles with one long, sustained, gentle breath. So one more time, deep breath in, try to blow out all 20 birthday candles. Hopefully you feel a lot more relaxed too, by the way. Beautiful. So that was for your inner core muscles, and now we'll do an exercise for your outer core muscles, your abdominals and your obliques, which again, don't get a lot of activation because sitting, especially in chairs with backs and arms, doesn't allow it. Or sitting at a desk, because you can brace yourself with your arms and the furniture. So what I'd like you to do is reach your hands up towards the ceiling, towards those imaginary birthday candles. And the first thing I'd like you to do is make sure that your shoulders are not creeping up towards your ears. So you pull your armpits towards your pockets. Next, I'd like you to pick up your head and try to look into your belly button as your hands continue to reach up for the ceiling. Tuck your chin. Really try to look into your belly button. That's it. So eyes literally look into your belly button. You should feel those abdominal muscles starting to work. What I'd like you to do is on the next 5 exhales, try to pull your heart closer towards your belt buckle. Don't let your torso fall to the ground yet. Try to get strong here and really ask those abdominals and those obliques to pull you even closer each breath out. Even if it's just a millimeter, ask more of those muscles right now. 2 more breaths, ask even more, try to get a little closer. You're doing a positional isometric to help activate these muscles and get strong there, and then slowly come on back down. Now you may also start feeling this in your neck, and believe it or not, your neck is attached to your abdominals through connective tissue. They're basically working the same joint system of spinal flexion. All right, and unfortunately when we sit too much, and we text too much, we use the back of your neck, not the front of your neck. So we create a strength imbalance in your neck. This is a great PreHab exercise for you if you're feeling it in your neck. We want to restore strength balance to your spine. So we're going to do a counter movement for this. We're going to do a floor bridge. So have your arms right by your side. Tuck your heels up towards your fingers the best that you can. And then lift your hips up as high as you can. Once your hips are up in the air, draw your belly button in towards your spine to support your lower back. Now I want you to focus on pressing the shoulders, the hands, and the heels down into the ground. 6 points of contact. 5 exhales, try to lift your hips up higher using your upper back muscles, your glutes, your hips, and your hamstrings. And you'll do that by really focusing on pressing the shoulders, the hands, and the heels down, not arching your back. So shoulders, hands, heels. 3 more exhales, lift your hips up a little bit higher each breath out. A little bit higher, and then come on back down. We're going to go back to that spinal flexion, so I'd like you to reach your arms up towards the ceiling again, tuck your chin, look into your belly button. And we're going to progress this if it's available to you today. So go ahead, curl your spine, look into your belly button, reach up. If it's available to you today, I'd like you to lift your kneecaps up over your hip sockets to load your lower abdominals. So keep the kneecaps over the hip sockets. Excellent. Now in this position, we're trying to make a C shape of the spine. So you're trying to lift the pelvis off the ground and your shoulder blades. Keep your chin tucked. Keep looking into your belly button. So one of the compensations or one of the cheats in this position is to bring the knees closer towards the chest. Try to keep them over your hip sockets. Keep your chin tucked too. 5 exhales here. Make those abdominals and those obliques work a little bit harder. So try to bring your heart closer towards your belt buckle closer towards your heart. Ask more from those muscles. Make them get strong right now. So you can get a little bit closer, and then get a little bit closer, and then slowly come on back down. Awesome. So we'll go back to that counter movement to floor bridge. So tuck those heels up towards your fingers. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and pull your shoulders away from your ears. Then lift your hips up as high as you can. And same technique, 6 points of contact, shoulders, hands, heels into the ground to activate your upper back, your glutes, and your hamstrings. 5 exhales here, try to lift your hips up just a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And then slowly come on back. Excellent. So those are a couple of positional isometrics, and we'll do some more, but what I'd like you to do now is roll over onto your stomach, because we're going to do some axial rotations. So you're going to lay on your stomach. The tip of your nose is going to be on the floor, so not your chin, not your forehead, but the tip of your nose, so that your neck's in neutral. Arms are going to be by your side. And what I'd like you to do is lift your shoulders up off the ground as high as you can. Then lift the hands up off the ground. Keep your nose on the ground the entire time. So your spine's in neutral. We're just trying to lift the shoulders off the ground and then the hands. So can you lift your hands up a little bit higher? Now, are your shoulders dropping when you lift your hands? Try to lift the shoulders as you lift your hands. Excellent. Now what I'd like you to do is keep your hands up as high as you can and then slowly rotate those palms out to the side as far as you can. And now rotate your palms the other way as far as you can. We're going to do this 10 more times, rotating the palms. And as you're rotating the palms, what I'd like you now to do is imagine you're also rotating the entire arm, including your biceps. So if I drew a little dot on your bicep, you could turn that dot away from your body and then towards your body. And now as you're doing these rotations, these axial rotations, I want you to really challenge yourself, go as far as you can in each direction. You should feel these little tiny shoulder muscles do a lot of work right now. So your shoulders and your hips are ball and socket joints, which means every time you use your arms and legs, there's always a degree of rotation. And that's what we're doing right now. We're just doing rotations. And it might be hard for you. If it is hard for you, just know that the probability of your body compensating when you use your arms is high. Because every time you use your arms and legs, there's always a degree of rotation. One more time. And then relax. Take a few deep breaths in and out. And then we'll do the fun version of this one. Take your arms up overhead like you're saying touchdown. And you're just going to lift your arms up as high as you can and then rotate here. So again, nose stays on the ground. You're lifting your arms up as high as you can and then trying to rotate the palms in each direction as far as you can. Try to keep your elbows nice and straight. And then try to lift your arms up as high as you can. Check in with those biceps. So are the biceps rotating? So if I drew a little dot on your bicep, are you turning it in and out? That's really key. It's not just about turning the palms over, because that's really coming from the elbows, but it's really about turning those biceps over. And relax. Awesome. It's not easy, right? Beautiful. So let's take a break from your shoulders right now. Let's take your hands, let's place them underneath your forehead. And then take your right knee out to the side like you're trying to touch your neighbor. So literally try to slide it out like you're trying to touch your neighbor. So your knee's going to be nice and bent 90 degrees. You're going to try to get 90 degrees in your hip. So we're in this position. It's called half frog position, because if you had the other leg out to the other side, you'd look like a frog. So in this half frog position, we're going to work on your straight leg, your left leg. Lift that leg up as high as you can. And now do the same thing we just did with the shoulders. Axial rotate, so rotating in and out as far as you can. As you do so, try to lift your leg up as high as you can, and then keep rotating. So you're trying to turn your kneecap in 45 degrees and turn the kneecap out 45 degrees without moving the pelvis. You should feel this deep in your hip socket. A lot of these hip rotators finally turning on and activating. Each time you're rotating the leg, try to go as far as you can in each direction. Really challenge those muscles. For those that have lower back problems as well as knee problems, this exercise would be very beneficial for you. Again, it's about turning the kneecap in and out. So it's not about circling the ankle, it's about turning the kneecap in and out, so you're literally rotating your leg. We'll do one more on each side, and then we'll pause. We'd like you to take a couple deep breaths in, and I'm going to introduce hinges to you. Hinges are just moving through a joint in a very smooth and controlled manner, but we're going to do it in a position that really helps us to maximize the strength of the other joints. So we're going to do some knee hinges. You're just going to bend and extend your knee, all right? But we're going to be training your hip as we do so. So you're still in your half frog position. Lift your left leg up as high as you can. Now slowly bend your knee and try to bring the heel all the way in. Don't let your thigh touch the ground. And then slowly extend your knee. We're going to bend and extend your knee on a 4-count tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, extend, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, keep that going. And I want you to lift your thigh up off the ground as high as you can so you feel those hip socket muscles turning up. I also want you to pull your belly button in towards your spine so that you're supporting your pelvis with your core muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to bring that heel all the way into your hips and then straight all the way. I will give $20 to anyone who can actually touch their heel to the hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This time, bring the heel in, we're going to hold it in. So bring it in nice and tight. Your heel's trying to touch your hips, your thighs off the ground, we're holding here. And now we're going to focus on your ankle. You're going to point your toes up and down, up and down. Gas pedal brake with the foot. So toes all the way up towards the ceiling, all the way down. As you're doing this, keep squeezing your heel up into your hip. Keep lifting your thigh up off the ground. So those hip muscles are really getting strong right now. These are the muscles you sit on all day long, and by sitting on them, you start to squish them, and they're going to lose their ability to contract. So you're activating and strengthening them, and you're also restoring stability to your hip, which will protect your back and your knee. 3 more times, toes up, toes down, toes up, toes down, toes up. Hold it here, just freeze. Good, we're gonna do another positional isometric, so try to pull the heel closer towards your hip, lift the thigh up as high as you can, pull the belly button in towards your spine, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and down. Well done. So we're done with that side. That's the good news. That side is meant to do the other side, right? So switch your legs, half frog to the other side, so bring that left leg out to the side. We're going to start with those axial rotations. So pull the belly button up in towards your spine, lift your right leg up as high as you can, and then start to rotate the leg in your hip socket. So turning the kneecap in 45 degrees and out 45 degrees. As you're doing this, you want to also make sure that your pelvis doesn't move. right? So that's one compensating strategy that your pelvis starts to move back and forth. So it's all about turning the kneecap in and out, in and out. So we're not circling the ankles, we're trying to literally turn the kneecap in and out. So think that turning in and out, in and out. Can you lift your leg up a little bit higher? Good. Keep that belly button drawn in towards your spine. In and out. 45 degrees. 2 more times. Excellent. And then take a short little break. Next, we'll do our knee hinges. So that's when we're going to lift the leg. We're going to bend and extend that knee on a 4-count tempo. So lift your leg up as high as you can. Thigh off the ground. Slowly bring that heel all the way up towards your hips. Again, $20 to anyone who actually can touch your hips. I say that all the time. I've never had to pay out. Okay. Try to extend all the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then bending. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, extending. 1, 2, 3, 4, and bending. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to be smooth here, right? You want to develop that control of your body, and you also want to see if you can challenge yourself by lifting your thigh up a little bit higher. On this next one, bring the heel all the way in and hold it in. Excellent. And this is where we're then going to do the ankle. So toes up, toes down. Gas pedal brake. Excellent. As you're doing your gas pedal brake with the foot, keep trying to squeeze your heel up into your hips. So you'll feel those hamstrings working. You'll feel your glutes working. Up and down. Up and down. And for those that wear high heels, ladies, right, this exercise is actually really good for you, right? Because you're going to be able to help open up your ankles again and lengthen your calves. Because high heels, even though they look great, they shorten your calves. 2 more times. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Now let's go ahead and point the toes up and let's just hold it. Positional isometric, getting strong here. So squeezing the heel all the way in, lifting that thigh all the way up. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and down, relax. Awesome. You can bring your legs straight. We'll take a break from the hips. We're going to return to the shoulders. We're going to do another technique. It's called small circles. So go ahead and start with those arms right by your side. So that means we're going to keep your tip of your nose on the floor, so not your chin, not your forehead, but the tip of your nose. We're going to lift your shoulders up as high as you can. Okay, keep your nose on the floor, then lift your hands up as high as you can. So this time with your middle finger, try to draw 10 slow circles the size of a quarter. Lift your shoulders up as high as you can, lift your hands up as high as you can as you do so. So you want the shoulders up as high as you can, hands up as high as you can, and then drawing 10 small circles with your middle finger. And the motion's actually going to come from the shoulders, not the wrists. Can you keep it very smooth cadence? Smooth, smooth, smooth. That's it, working from the shoulders. And now go in the other direction 10 times. Again, you're moving from the shoulders, not the wrists. So you're literally trying to make a long circle. Sorry, you're trying to use a long arm to make a small circle. 2 more times. Excellent, and relax. Well done. So what I'd like you to do now is come up onto your hands and your knees. And if it's okay with you, I would like you to take your shoe, and you can take your shoe, put it on your back with the sole up so you're not going to get your shirt dirty. So like this. We're going to bring your hands nice and wide. And then from this position, we're going to do your hips again, just because it's very important for you to sit a lot. So we're going to play a little game here. It's called Balance Your Shoe.
I'd like you to lift your right heel up as high as you can. And then take the knee out to the side. As high as you can, balancing the shoe on your back. Bring that knee all the way up towards your heart. And then knees together. And then reverse direction. Back towards your heart. Then out to the side. Lift that heel all the way up. And then slowly bring that leg down to the ground. And switch. Left heel up as high as you can. Now knee out to the side. Balance the shoe on your back. Bring that knee all the way up towards your chest. Knees together. And then change direction. Back towards your chest. Then out to the side. Lifting your heel up as high as you can. And then slowly bring it all the way down. Let's go back to that right leg. Lifting up as high as you can. Knee out to the side. Balance that shoe. Bring that knee as close to your heart as you can. And then change direction. Back towards your heart. Out to the side. Lift the heel all the way up. And then bring it all the way down. One more time, left side. So heel up as high as you can. And then knee out to the side. Bring that knee all the way up towards your chest. And then reverse. Back towards your chest. Out to the side. All the way up. And down. And let's go ahead and take that shoe off your back. Make your way into a seated position. One more exercise. We're going to do some kinetic stretching here. So kinetic stretching is that we're going to use muscle groups on either side of the movement to perform the movement. So legs out in front of you, nice and straight. I want you to lift your arms up as high as you can. So we did all those positional isometrics to turn on those outer core muscles. I want you to use those outer core muscles and slowly pull yourself down into a forward fold. Now on the bottom of the fold, reach your hands forward and then come back up. Excellent. So now we're going to do that, and we're going to make a kinetic exercise by looking at your legs, trying to lift your legs up as you fold forward. So I'm literally trying to lift my legs up off the ground as I fold forward. Then I gently press my heels into the ground as I reach forward and come back up. Good. 2 more times, nice and slowly. Lift your legs, folding forward. Then press the heels into the ground, reaching forward, coming on up. One more time. Lift your legs, folding forward. And then pressing the heels into the ground, coming on up. Excellent. And then let's go ahead and make your way onto your backs. For just a bit more breathing and a little relaxation before you go back to work. So what I'd like you to do is have your legs out in front of you, nice and straight. Arms by your side. I'd like you to take a deep breath in and make it the biggest breath that you possibly can. So breathe in. Try to fill up your entire torso there. And then exhale, just let it go. Again, breathe in. Try to fill up your arms and legs with air. And then exhale, just let it go. This time I want you to breathe in and try to hold the breath for a long time. So the biggest breath in, breathe in. And now hold it. Making your diaphragm stronger right now by holding that breath. And ideally, you'd like to hold it as long as you can. But we'll just hold it for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and let it go. So now we're going to do the opposite. So you're going to take a normal breath in. You're going to try to squeeze all the air out of your body. So normal breath in. And now exhale, squeeze. Keep getting the air out. Squeeze more air out. More. And now let the air just come back in. So here we go. Exhale, squeeze it out. Keep squeezing it out. Ask more. And let the air just come back in. This time, squeeze it out, and we're going to hold it out. So squeeze it out. Hold the breath out so you're good and stronger in your transverse abdominals,
your inner core muscles. Ideally holding as long as you can so you get super strong with those core muscles. Well, we'll just hold for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and let it go. So now we'll just do a combination of the two. So just take a huge breath in, the biggest breath in that you can. And then exhale, squeeze it all out. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Again, big breath in. Huge breath, breathe into your arms and your legs, and then exhale, squeeze it out, squeeze it out, squeeze it out, squeeze it out, get it all out. Last time, big breath in. And then exhale, squeeze it out, squeeze it out, squeeze it out, squeeze it out, squeeze it out. And then just let the air just come in and out all on its own. And as you're laying here, all I would like you now to do is imagine you're 10 feet tall. Allow the top of your head to drift away from your tailbone. Allow your tailbone to drift away from the top of your head. Allow your fingers to drift away from your shoulders. Allow your toes to drift away from your hips. So here you are with long legs, long arms, tall spine. You are 10 feet tall. And my homework for you is to be 10 feet tall all day long. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll a little bit from side to side. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer your questions for you. And I also believe that it's time for lunch.
Lunch will be brought in, so if you have any questions, there'll be boxed lunches, salads, wraps, sandwiches. Ryan did a really nice job